My heartfelt gratitude goes out to you, dear readers, for taking the time to immerse yourselves in this profoundly personal account. Your openness to connect with my story touches me deeply, and I'm truly thankful for your compassion and willingness to walk with me through a moment that forever changed my life. I hope this tale stirs something within you, encouraging you to heed that quiet inner voice that often knows more than we realize. On a tranquil Saturday evening, my wife, Emily, shared that she was heading out to celebrate a friend's birthday. A simple gathering, she said, nothing unusual. Yet, an unsettling feeling stirred within me, a persistent unease I couldn't ignore. Her words seemed off, though I couldn't pinpoint why, and despite my efforts to brush it aside, the doubt lingered like a heavy fog. Driven by impulse, I decided to follow her, a choice that led me to a truth so crushing it still echoes in my heart. Emily and I had built 5 years of marriage together, navigating life's joys and challenges as partners. I had always trusted her completely, never imagining she could hide something so devastating. That night, however, a gnawing instinct whispered that something wasn't right. She mentioned she'd be out late, but as the hours dragged on, my unease deepened. I didn't want to seem paranoid, but the tension in my chest refused to ease. Slipping on my jacket, I followed her car, keeping a careful distance to stay unnoticed. I wasn't certain what I hoped to discover, but nothing could have braced me for what lay ahead. Emily's car pulled up to a modest home on the edge of town, its windows glowing softly with muted light. Shadows moved within, suggesting life inside, and I wavered, trying to convince myself I was overthinking. Yet, that inner voice pushed me to look closer. I watched as she slipped through the front door, and my determination solidified. Sneaking around to the back of the house, I peered through a window, hoping for clarity. At first, the scene seemed innocent. Guests mingling, gentle laughter, and music drifting softly. But then everything changed. There, standing too close, was Mark, her old high school friend, the one she always swore was just a platonic connection. Their laughter was too intimate, their bodies brushing in a way that sent my heart sinking. My breath hitched, and the air felt thick with dread. I stayed hidden, crouched behind a tree, my mind reeling and emotions in disarray. Then the unimaginable happened. Mark leaned in, his lips brushing Emily's ear, and she responded with a warm, knowing smile before their lips met in a kiss. In that instant, my world collapsed. The woman I had loved, trusted, and built a life with had shattered my belief in her. But I couldn't look away. I needed the full truth. Still in shock, I slipped through the back door, the party's noise cloaking my footsteps. My heart pounded as I crept toward the living room, their voices growing clearer, soft, familiar murmurs that cut through me. When I reached the doorway, I stopped cold. There, on the sofa, Emily and Mark were locked in a passionate embrace, lost in a kiss, unaware of my presence. Time seemed to freeze as I stood there, my legs trembling, barely holding me up. I wanted to shout, to confront her, but my voice failed me. Instead, I turned and fled, desperate to escape before they saw me. My heart shattered, unable to face them in my broken state. Back at home, I sat staring at the door, my mind a storm of disbelief. How could this have happened? How could she betray me so completely? Everything we had built felt like a lie. The next morning, I confronted her. The look on her face, guilt and fear intertwined, burned into my memory. Caught in her deception, she admitted everything. The affair, the lies, the nights she claimed to be with friends while I waited at home, trusting her fully. But her confession didn't soothe the pain. It was a raw, unrelenting wound that refused to close. That night reshaped my entire life. It wasn't just the betrayal itself, but the stark realization that someone I loved so deeply could deceive me so thoroughly. In the days that followed, I made the heart-wrenching decision to leave Emily. It was the most difficult choice I've ever faced, but it was the only way forward. I share this story not to seek sympathy, but to offer a hard-earned lesson. Trust is fragile, like a delicate pane of glass, and once broken, it rarely mends perfectly. Betrayal doesn't just harm a relationship. It leaves a lasting scar on your soul. To those reading this, let my experience guide you. Never ignore that quiet instinct deep within. Trust it, and when doubt arises, seek the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Your heart deserves nothing less.